right, let's go back to the video. Let's start with this guy again.
Pro-Israel groups are trying to cultivate a new generation of black leaders.
Wait, stop. What does cultivate mean? To bring up, to grow, to groom, to brainwash. So this is what they want to do. Start it again, start it again.
Pro-Israel groups are trying to cultivate a new generation of black leaders that is pro-Israel by bringing them to AIPAC conferences on all expenses paid trips, by taking them on delegations to Israel.
They're doing that.
Wait, stop! Did y'all hear that? They're paying all expenses paid. A gift destroyeth the heart. And this is how they're fooling a lot of these black people. Go ahead, go back. Go ahead.
AIPAC conferences on all expenses paid trips by taking them on delegations to Israel.
They're doing that because they're afraid of BDS and they're afraid of Black Lives Matter, which is this new struggle for black freedom that also sees black freedom as situated in a larger context. In 2014, Israel launched a siege of Gaza. In the same summer, police in Ferguson killed Mike Brown, and Ferguson rose up. And on the news at night, there would be both the latest out of Gaza and the latest out of Ferguson. There was solidarity that was expressed online with the Ferguson uprising. There were Palestinians who took to Twitter to cheer on the rebels of Ferguson and explain how to deal with tear gas.
Israel's diplomats have responded by evoking the legacy of Martin Luther King, claiming that the campaign for Palestinian civil rights bears no resemblance to the civil rights movement in America.
Dr. Clarence B. Jones.
Wait, stop. So now they said we got to break up those blacks in Ferguson. We can't have them supporting BDS in Palestine. So they said we got to cause something to happen. Go back a few seconds.
Palestinian
And I'm sorry, they always use Martin Luther King. When white people mention Martin Luther King, we got to tell them, stop. Your people murdered him. You assassinated him. His name should never come out of your mouth. Go on.
King, claiming that the campaign for Palestinian civil rights bears no resemblance to the civil rights movement in America.
Dr. Clarence B. Jones, who wrote the draft speech for Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream. He was his lawyer, he was his close friend, he was somebody that I reached out to, he became a very close and personal friend. Because of that relationship, he published 3 articles at the Huffington Post explaining why their agenda was hijacked.
Stop. He reached out to that guy that used to know Martin Luther King, who's a writer for the Huffington Post, took him out to dinner, had a talk about what's going on. And this black guy wrote articles against black people supporting Palestine. Go ahead.
Martin Luther King will turn in his grave if he saw the anti-Israel tendencies or policies that are starting to emerge within Black Lives Matter.
There's something on one hand laughable about it, but there's something also really insidious about this. You're using the credibility of a freedom struggle to try to oppose another freedom struggle. And I think that that's appalling.
Soon after Black Lives Matter declared support for BDS, a fundraiser at a New York nightclub was suddenly cancelled. The venue's management said it didn't approve of the movement's stance on Israel.
So now, this is why we tell you, stop putting everything on Facebook. They had Black Lives Matter shut down for an event they paid for. They called him, hey, Harry, shut that SH down, and got him kicked out. Go ahead.
Tony was told by his boss, Eric, that the Israel Project was behind the decision.
I don't know if you saw, but this club, ditched a Black Lives Matter event. One of our donors, we just put in a call to him and then he put in a call to the police.
well, to shut down this Black Lives Matter event. I think it's really appalling that a system in Israel has devised incredible and comprehensive ways to have a violent regime against Palestinians, that they would also invest resources into making sure to shore up support for that oppression here.
Well, all righty then. From there. We're almost done. Give me Acts 8:27.
The book of Acts, chapter 8 and verse 27. And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, an eunuch of great authority under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians,
So go ahead.
who had the charge of all her treasure, and had come to Jerusalem for to worship.
Read.
Was returning and sitting in his chariot, read Isaiah the prophet.
He was reading the Bible. He was reading Isaiah in the Tanakh. Go ahead.
Then the Spirit said unto Philip, Go near and join thyself to this chariot. And Philip ran thither to him, and heard him read the prophet Isaiah, and said, Understandest thou what thou readest? And he said, How can I, except some man should guide him?
So what do y'all
guide me?"
think this Ethiopian was? Who do y'all think he was? An Israelite. Go ahead.
And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him. The
So
pla-
from there, give me Psalm 68:31. I'm going to just rush through these for time's sake. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. The book of Psalms, chapter 68, in verse 31. Verse 31. Princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands.
So
unto
these
God.
princes coming out of Egypt, that's the Israelites. These Ethiopians that stretching out their hand, that's the Israelites. Go ahead.
Sing unto God, ye kingdoms of the earth.
Sing unto God, ye kingdoms of the earth. Was that the whole verse?
O sing praises unto the Lord, Selah.
Give me Zephaniah 3:10. So where are the Israelites at? Oh, can people say, oh, nobody knows. Oh, no, we do know where the Israelites at. Okay. And yes, we know there's more than what's on the 12 tribes chart. Okay, so don't think we think that's all there is. No, we don't think that. We understand the scriptures. Zephaniah 3:10, please.
Zephaniah 3 and 10. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed.
Hey, put the map back up, the latest one, the red map. I want the red map. The last one. Yeah, that one. That's the one I want. Okay. So you see, I don't know if y'all can see the Nile. See what next where it says, what is that? Nubia. I think that says Nubia right there. Yeah, and you see that black line that goes all the way down? That's the Nile. Okay, and then you got the blue Nile. See that right there? That's the blue Nile. Yep. Up, right there. Over to the right a little bit. Oh, right, that's the blue Nile. See how it turns? Follow it. That's Ethiopia right there. See Abyssinia above it? That area is Ethiopia. And you got the blue Nile, which connects to the white Nile. So now read that again.
Zephaniah 3 and 10. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants,
My suppliants.
even the daughter of my dispersed.
Daughter of my dispersed. So God is telling us that the dispersed of Israel is scattered throughout this area in the continent of Africa. Go ahead.
Shall bring mine offering.
Uh-huh.
In that day shalt thou not be ashamed for all thy doings, wherein thou hast transgressed against me.
Because we were scattered and forgot who we are because we transgressed the Most High's laws. Go ahead.
For then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in thy pride.
Them that rejoice in thy pride. What verse you at?
Verse 11.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt no more be haughty because of my holy mountain. I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people.
So it's letting you know the condition of our people on the continent. They would be afflicted and they would, what, brothers? Poor. Go ahead.
And they shall trust in the name of the Lord.
And they shall trust in the name of the Lord. Hey, IT, there's another video I sent you real quick. Yeah, it says Empire Files. You got it? Okay, what we're going to do, listen good what I'm about to say. We're going to start from the beginning, and we're only going to go to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. All right? Go ahead.
While journalists, human rights organizations, and activists are fighting a battle to expose Israel's oppression of Palestinians, there's another group in the country that's also attacked and imprisoned, those of African descent. A major rationale given for the existence of Israel is that it serves as a refuge for those who face the horrors of the Holocaust, part of making sure the words never again hold true. So it might come as a surprise to some that Israel is building prison camps for and legislating laws against people fleeing genocide today. When European countries tightened restrictions on refugees, it became increasingly difficult for asylum seekers to escape war and persecution. As camps filled up throughout the African continent, many started crossing the Sinai Desert into Israel. Today, there are about 45,000 African refugees inside Israel's...
Who was with me in Israel again? You was there? Yeah. Remember, we wanted to go to the camps, the prison camps, because the prison camps, people from Ghana, Nigeria, Congo, Senegal, in those prison camps. Remember, we asked the brothers from Damona. They didn't, bruh. These guys were, I'm sorry. They were so much in fear of Netanyahu, they refused to help us to get there because we wanted to teach the people, organize the people. We're the ones to do it. And these guys were against us. They did not help us at all. But go on with the video.
Bishop, they could have been set up. You never know.
Yeah, it's true. Go ahead.
Less than 0.5% of its population. But despite their minuscule size relative to the population, they're treated as a national crisis in Israeli society. Likud member of parliament, Miri Regev, stated from the stage of an anti-refugee rally, "The Sudanese are a cancer in our body." Interior Minister Eli Yishai claimed that African refugees were raping many Israeli women, who do not complain because they don't want people to know they were also given AIDS. He also stated Israel belongs to the white man.
Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? You can't make this, and they always use, oh, people are getting raped. Why didn't nobody come forward? Or they didn't want nobody to know they got AIDS. That's a damn lie. What the hell is this? Remember, we only go into 2:30 IT? Go ahead.
Police station in Tel Aviv also officially honored May Golan, a leader of anti-African campaigns that encourage violent attacks. And this incitement does indeed work. Just in November 2016, an innocent Sudanese man was beaten to death while walking home from work. The racism runs so deep, babies are even attacked. One man tried to murder a 1-year-old baby girl from Eritrea by stabbing her in the head. 92% of them are from just 2 countries, Sudan and Eritrea. Those escaping Sudan are fleeing ethnic cleansing and genocide in a vicious civil war. Ironically, the Israeli government has directly fueled this bloody conflict with weapons and more.
Wait. Did y'all catch that? There's a conflict. Where they getting the weapons from? Israel. Oh, man, you can't make this stuff up. 2:30 IT, that's what we're going to?
Bishop, you telling me...
I'm going to jump. I'm going to jump.
You telling me Greenblatt don't know about this?
Oh,
After
Greenblatt
he went on Hot 97? He went on Hot 97 and said that the black Hebrew Israelites are inciting violence against Jewish people. But he missed this whole thing that his people set up. Damn!
Yeah. We're going to... Did y'all get to 2:30? Okay, good.
Vicious civil war. Ironically, the Israeli government has directly fueled this bloody conflict with weapons and more. Many of the refugees I spoke with told me they barely made it out alive.
So Israel's behind it. Jump to 5:40. 5:40, write this down, 5:40, and we're going to go to 7 minutes and 9 seconds. All right, IT?
Against the Eritrea, the struggle against the Eritrea to take them back home to Mother Africa.
Why do they have to make our life so miserable? We have enough problems with Arabs and
These struggles against those people, it's not about racism, or it's not about hate.
Wait, I'm sorry, go back. Do y'all hear the German accent? These guys is Nazis. Go back. I'm like, Jagger, Sieg Heil. Go ahead.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Eritrea, the struggle against the Eritrea to take them back home to Mother Africa.
Why do they have to make our life so miserable? We have enough problems with Arabs and
These struggles against those people, it's not about racism, or it's not about hateness. It's just about that it's not their home. They should to go to any country in Africa.
It's not racism because I don't see them as inferior to me. Racism is when I see someone inferior. I don't see them inferior, but I see them as criminals.
And these infiltrators are filthy, and they... They bring us only trouble.
So what have they done? Tell me about what they've done to you. You said that they...
Look, I've never passed any violence by them, but I especially train on self-defense. I hit boards, trees. Some trainer hits me yeah. So because I know that someday I will pass violence by them.
They have to go back to the country. They made enough money. Everyone who worked here can be a millionaire there in Eritrea. Go back to the country.
Well, how do you do that, though?
How do you do it? We take them with chains and put them on boats.
Did y'all hear this? Did y'all hear what he said? Put them in chains and put them on boats. There's some evil people. That's Deuteronomy 26:8 again. He know the history. Where we at? What time? Go ahead, 10 seconds. Go ahead, then we're going to jump.
Be a millionaire there in Eritrea. Go back to the country.
Well, how do you do that, though?
How do you do it? We take them with chains and put them on boats.
The race...
Jump to 1452. 1452, and we're going to go to 18 minutes, 35 seconds. 1452 to 1835. Okay?
Prison, I'm here.
While many Israelis claim it's about illegal immigration, not their African descent, there are around 80,000 European immigrants living in Israel illegally who face no such repercussions. And it's not just black refugees who are oppressed in Israel, but black Jewish Israeli citizens. Israeli public relations often touts its inclusion of Ethiopian Jews as proof the country isn't racist at all.
Wait, stop! Did y'all hear that? They include black Ethiopians like in the military not to put on a front that they're not racist. Look, we got black people that work here in our country. That's what they do here. Go ahead.
And multinational. However, their actual status in society tells a different story. Despite existing as an official state since 1948, Israel didn't start welcoming Ethiopian Jews to settle in its borders until 1973, with a decree from a Sephardic rabbi who said they were now truly Jewish. This created the incentive for tens of thousands of Ethiopian Jews to flee to Israel to escape persecution and war in their home country. Throughout the 80s and 90s, Israel carried out rescue operations that flew...
Wait. I know we all forgot. They're fleeing persecution in their own countries because who's supporting those wars in their countries? Israel's buying the weapons. Wow. Go ahead.
Thousands of Jews out of Ethiopia. But the decree that they were truly Jewish wasn't enough for Israeli society. Ethiopian Jewish children were sent to Orthodox boarding schools because Israeli rabbinic authorities decided they were not Jewish enough and thought their parents too primitive to know what a so-called proper Jewish upbringing should be. Today there are around 140,000 Ethiopian Jewish citizens living in Israel, less than 2% of the population. Similar to Palestinian citizens of Israel, this minority group is marginalized and segregated. Ethiopian immigrants suffer exponentially higher poverty and unemployment rates than that of native Israelis. Over 50% of all Ethiopian families live below the poverty line. A 2012 report by the Israeli Ministry of Immigrant Absorption found that 41% of Ethiopian adults who had migrated to Israel in the last decade were unemployed. On average, they earn 1/3 less than Israeli citizens. The Israeli government doesn't only have laws institutionalizing this discrimination against African Jews and refugees. It also participates in eugenics programs against them. Despite denying it for years, in 2013, the Israeli government admitted it had been administering Depo-Provera birth control injections to Ethiopian women without their consent, in an utter violation of personal sovereignty. A journalist who interviewed 35 Ethiopian immigrants found they were threatened into taking the shots while being held in transit camps. One Ethiopian woman named Emma Wyash said, "We said we won't have the shot. They told us if you don't, you won't go to Israel. You won't get aid or medical care. We were afraid. We didn't have a choice, so we accepted the injection. It was only with their permission that we were allowed to leave. Some were even told unless they received
pause
the
it right
injection."
there. That's the same thing they did to the brothers in Dimona. Because when they went there in 1967 under Ben Ami, they needed medical and dental care. And the deal was you had to work in their military to get dental and health care. Okay, so go ahead.
They would be barred from the country forever. The birth rate among Israel's Ethiopian population dropped a stunning 50% from 2002 to 2012 as a result of this eugenics program. But that's not all. There are even gangs that exist to attack Israelis in interracial relationships. A very revealing poll found that only 25% of white Israelis would permit a child to marry an Ethiopian Jew. Even less would live in a majority Ethiopian neighborhood. Other than Palestinians, of course, Ethiopian Jews are the most vulnerable to police abuse and incarceration. They make up just 2% of the population, yet comprise over 20% of the youth prison population. In 2016, the Israeli police commissioner told the Israeli Bar Association that it was natural to suspect Ethiopian Jews of criminality. We were in Tel Aviv in the aftermath of the announcement and followed an impromptu rally in front of the police commissioner's house. One of the rally organizers was Tehune Maharat, whose cousin was murdered in a suspected hate crime by Israeli police.
Okay, wait, that's 8, where you at? Go to 2355. We're gonna go from 2355 to the end. Malachi, you was gonna say something?
So what happened with human rights?
Yeah, what happened to it?
America, I thought America said they're pushing democracy, human rights. How come no politician, no United States government say anything about this? What happened to human rights? Telling you they're the devil the Bible speak of.
2355 until the end. It's only like 2 minutes, I think. Go ahead.
From warehousing asylum seekers to discriminating against its own citizens, the treatment of black people in Israel reveals something very important about the Zionist project. That it's not just about creating a Jewish-only state, but one that is also based on white supremacy.
Do y'all hear that?
Recognizing that.
Yeah, hear me to play it again! I'm sorry, I'm going crazy.
The treatment of black people in Israel reveals something very important about the Zionist project. That it's not just about creating a Jewish-only state, but one that is also based on white supremacy. And more recognizing that the struggle for black lives and Palestinian lives are linked together.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.